pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend Larry Light.
Okay. Let's pray together. Our Heavenly Father, we bow this evening and we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you that you're our Creator and our Redeemer through Christ. We thank you for your goodness to us, for the privilege of living in America. Thank you for Walton, New York, and your blessings upon this village. We just pray for your favor upon this meeting tonight, that you'll be with the mayor, be with the trustees, be with the citizens, be with those who are here in attendance. And we pray for the favor of your goodness upon decisions made tonight. May you bless our community with unity. May you prosper our businesses. May you bring healing to those who are sick. We pray for your goodness upon our students as they begin a new school year. And so, Lord, we just commit our village and our future to you. And we just ask your blessing now upon this meeting, that you'll give wisdom, guidance, and direction. And for this, we'll give you thanks. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Should we give a
Little
advance along? Okay, we'll go to number one, the abstracts. I believe everyone has had time to look at them and ask any questions. If you have any others, please come up with them now. If not, I need a motion to pass them.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Department heads. Roger?
This is
First
nice,
in
John.
the molten lava pot tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everybody got the report, I hope.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions concerning the report?
Yeah, and Roger, the parks around the village really look good. You and your staff have done a real good job.
Well, thank you. That was a lot of help from the CDO workforce and the part-time summer help that we really kept up good with it this year.
Now, it's good that the young people have good role models for you and your staff to see what it goes to keep a job.
Yeah, this year we've been very fortunate. The kids that we selected.
Yeah, and it just seems that the crew's been able to keep right on track with all the work that we had scheduled. It's really,
So
the roads
far.
are looking good, and they filled a lot of side streets in. I mean, I hate to say everything's so good, I don't want to put a jinx on it,
Yeah.
but it's been really well. The crew's done excellent this year.
Yep, and with talking with Dan Marks earlier today, which you know as well as I do, things change in a second. Possibly Thursday morning we'll be starting the paving on our streets.
That would probably be terrace first, right? It's still-
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to get everything across the river done and then get the ones in this area, on this side. after that.
Okay, I'll let
Nice.
them know, that'd be good. You think, how long it's gonna take, they can do that in 3 or 4 days? Could they get?
I'd
us-
hope at least 3. I would
Yeah.
like to see it within 3. I don't know why we can't.
Okay,
Depending on if the trucks continue on.
South Street is nice and smooth with those things filled in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was a long time coming.
good.
At the bottom,
Yes, sir.
well number 4.
Yep, and I'd like to ask the board tonight, I don't know if you want to ask now or later.
Yeah, do it now.
Number 4, Austin Lincoln Well, I'd like to, permission from the board to get it clean rehabilitated. And I have a quote, I hope everybody ended up with it. And that's just with no foreseen problems, just the cleaning, redeveloping. If there's any other issues, then it's above and beyond the estimated quote.
And what's in the budget for that?
21.5.
Oh, okay, good.
So we're covered.
We hope we are. Hope we are.
It's
It's-
necessary.
Yeah, I mean, you should every 5 years at least, and we had 5 wells, like, every year.
Rotate.
Do one,
Keep
yeah.
it. With the water projects, we ended up doing some wells, and I also installing new wells, so that kind of jumped into the rotation. So number 4 would be the next at Austin Lincoln.
Do you need a motion? Yep. Motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anything else?
Absolutely not. I think I'm all set as far as everybody.
Guys are doing a great job. Just tell them thank you to the board.
Thank
Really,
you.
really doing a good job. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Bill Brown?
Hi, Bruce.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hopefully everybody got a copy of our spiel for tonight.
Yes, thank you.
I don't have much to touch base on at the wastewater plant, but I know John has an update there. Our main, I guess, discussion point tonight is at the bottom of the first page and then into the second with water-related. We finished up the piping for the Quarry and Platt Street projects and had the blacktop installed along the trench lines. They finished the last of the blacktop this past Friday. So we're pretty much done with the Platt and Quarry Street. We got a couple little punch list items that we got to get cleaned up. I know we got a pothole over on Platt Street. We got to get that cleaned up, patched. So, but we're basically done with all the piping and blacktopping. So, we do have a payment request from Goff Construction. That's basically for the piping and work that they did on Platt Street. In the amount of $62,554.42. It brings us to just under the 90% mark with 19,000 and change.
No reason to hold anything back at this point, or?
Well, we've still got 19,000 that we're holding back. We should end up a few $1,000s under budget when we close the contract out. This payment reflects work done through August 22nd. It takes us about a week to get the paperwork around. So they worked last week, so the bulk of that 19.5 would get accounted for there. We'll look to present that at next month's meeting to close everything out, and then address punch list, maintenance bond, stuff like that. So
Make a motion, we pay that bill?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
just so everybody's on the same page for paving, we are gonna look to hold off on finished paving for Platt and Quarry Street this year. We're gonna allow the trenches to have the winter to settle, go through a freeze-thaw cycle, which is similar to what we've done on other streets. We had thought we would be able to pave Platt this year. They didn't get pavement in the trench as soon as we would have liked, and I think it'll give you a better product anyway if you let it go through a freeze-thaw cycle, which again, that's what we did on Terrace Avenue last year. It's what we did on some of the streets with the bigger water project.
Yeah, just
So,
that pothole, maybe it's all the more reason.
to hold
Well,
off
you
until we
definitely
get
need to
that.
make a base up there on that road.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the pavement, well, on both of the streets, it's older pavement. So when we do get to the point we're gonna mill and pave, we probably would look to go, Roger, obviously, go deeper than maybe just the 2 inches to get some base and have a longer use road.
When you mill, like, let's say Platt,
Mm-hmm.
where you've got 3 or 4 feet plus, that's just got dirt with a thin layer of like that asphalt cap, what do
Right.
they do to prep the area that
Well,
was dug out?
I mean, you can, with the milling machine, you can go through gravel and stuff,
Oh.
to some extent. If you're gonna go much deeper than just the asphalt, you may need to come in with a different piece of equipment. Backhoe, excavator, bulldozer, something like that, if you're gonna go.
Going in because the work was so recent?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we tried to, keep a good record of what the pavement condition was when we, dug our trenches through. We've got, 4 or 5 inches of blacktop, existing pavement, basically on Platt and Quarry. But it's stuff that's been there for a long time, and it's, kind of worn out.
I don't know what I'm looking at, but it looked like there was like 4 or 5 inches of asphalt down.
Right.
And then maybe 10 inches of dirt, and then more asphalt.
Yeah, I saw that in a couple of spots. My guess is that's just backfill you know, they backfilled, maybe when they put the sewer main in or something, you know, years ago. If it was that deep, I'm sure if the road hasn't changed by feet, you know, in the last couple of, you know, 50 years even, or maybe probably longer. You know, a few inches, you know, it'll go up and down as different pavements are put down over the course of time. Yeah, that's the thought on paving. So the next discussion is if we want to continue with more water lines, water line replacement throughout the village like we've done the last couple of years. We put a map, you know, updated our kind of our water system map, our inventory on the page in the back there. And it's real, you know, real crude, but it kind of gives you a sense of, you know, where the water lines are, you know, obviously running down the streets and the different ages. You know, you've got roughly 85,000 feet in water main throughout the entire village. You know, you're looking at a little over a third of that, 34,000 feet that is still, you know, 80 years old. A lot of that's undersized for current standards. A lot of that's 4-inch main that's cast iron that's, you know, corroded on the inside that doesn't let a lot of water through for fire protection. Doesn't help with water quality in your system. So, you know, you know, you've made a good stride in the last couple of years to make a big dent in that red. There wasn't nearly as much red, obviously, in the 5 years ago as there is now. But there's still a lot of blue, which represents the 80-year-old pipe. So, you know, in discussions with Roger and, you know, reviewing the documentation that we've seen, you know, with doing the water project recently, you know, we've replaced some of the valves on Union and Bruce Street. We know we've had leaks. I believe there was a freezing issue on Union Street this past winter with a service, and then possibly getting all the way back to the main. You know, we know there's issues on Bruce and Union Street. So if we are going to look to do, you know, continue with replacement of water mains, it's probably the next place to look.
When would that begin, Bill?
I mean, construction, it would be a next year's construction
Okay.
project. You know, I think it would be good, you know, if we are going to do it, to start on the planning and design, you know, now in the fall. Not quite fall yet, we got a few more days of summer. But, you know, to start it, you know, in the fall, to allow for us to bid it around January, February timeframe, and you know, that's when we typically see the best numbers from contractors and the best competition from contractors to give you know, the village the best bang for your buck.
So Bill and I were talking in committee, and I mean, in effect, the streets are talking to them with the problems we're having with the freezing and the leaks and stuff that are already going on in the bracketed area, the high priority area. I mean, that's gonna, I mean, Roger and his crew's gonna be out there at, you know, 2 a.m. again in the winter. I mean, if we can't do it, we can't do it, but it's
Right.
talking to us.
You know, I'm always, you know, I'm big one,
Go,
always trying to
right.
build scope for it, but I also know that we have limited funds in.
Yeah, I mean, nobody
in the
has
water
a-
account.
right,
This
right.
kind of number, there's absolutely no way we could even come
Right.
close to it. Maybe if you look at Union Street, and then we see if it's considerably
Right.
lower, we might be able to do something like
Yeah.
that. I like to see something get done. I mean, even if we can't do a bigger project, we have to see what we
Right.
have left over, because we still gotta have money for paving for Terrace.
Right.
We still gotta have money for Platt,
Platt
and
and
for
Quarry that we just did, right.
And then our payments that we have for the big projects, and
Right.
then see where we're at, have an
Right.
idea. Maybe a Union Street might be, but the bigger one, but
Right.
no doubt.
But,
Can't do
I mean,
that.
this is definitely segmented too, so I mean, you could maybe have Union Street be your base project, and then, you know, have an alternate to be, you know, if you give us a good number, we'll give you more work,
Right.
kind of thing, and have that be, because like you say, you know, we're approaching $400,000, you know, with that estimate. And that's everything, I mean, that's construction, engineering, paving, survey, you know, a turnkey project. But, you know, it's like I say, it's segmented, or, you know, it can be broken up into smaller pieces.
Well, that's, the only way anything can be done, it have to be broken up. 'Cause
Right.
I know, we just don't I know, Joe, you don't have to say anything. I know that we just can't
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought.
train you well.
It's-
I'm
yeah,
starting to
it's
say
good.
it now.
It's good.
Didn't even have to kick.
You have
Yeah.
to kick me this time. I got my
You got
boots
that,
on.
no, you should put that no word.
You know,
Post
if
it.
we had it, I was the first one to say, let's do it. And we-
Right.
If we can't next year, we can do the year, at least we have an idea which way we're going.
Right.
So, I mean, I know Union did freeze up, it was pretty bad, so, I mean, that would be a priority for me right now. And we'll see, maybe if we really get really good prices, you never
Right.
know. And see how, we got a couple billing cycles to collect money and see,
Yeah, where
anything
your capital is
unexpected
at that
doesn't come up, then maybe we'll have more.
And the paving for Platt and Quarry, the money for the paving, is that already set aside, or do we need to come up with that yet?
The quarry and plat?
The paving part.
Budgeted.
It was budgeted, and, yeah.
We had the same, you know, basic estimate when we did those, you know, it's part of the project, you know, it's a separate contract, you know, it's somebody new coming in to do that work, but that's part of the project is to pave the street before we're said and done, so, yeah, I mean, it's a known cost or
But
an
yet,
estimated
I mean,
cost.
it's in the budget, but yet it hasn't come out of the
Right,
water
you
fund
haven't
yet.
cut
You
the
know what I
check
mean?
yet.
So I know what's in the
Right.
water fund, so you
Oh, I just
gotta,
didn't know if the paving of Platt and Quarry was on top of the estimate, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you're telling
and
me?
Tom,
Yeah,
huh?
It's
Yeah,
in there.
yeah,
yeah, okay.
okay. No, I think we should do something, hopefully we can do more, we'll just see.
Yeah.
I know we have to leave money in our water fund just in
Yeah,
case
right,
anything happens.
right.
Right, Jody?
They train you well.
Yeah, that's good. Let's do it all. I think it's great that we're doing it this way because we're paying for it cash. We're not, like the big water project, we're paying for that 2 or 3 times over by the time it's gonna be done.
Right.
This way, we pay cash, we save all the interest, and it's done.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd rather do a small project and get it done. I think it's good, shows that we're watching out for the taxpayers' money.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
We have to
Paul.
let him come now? That other guy, what's his name there, Mr. Moffett? I know Jim Swallow was gonna give me a hard time, so I have to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jody, you have yours, right?
There's not too much to report on the plant operation in itself. Everything seems to have a pretty good month during the month of this is September, sorry. During August, everything came out well. Sorry about that. So the two items we really have, is the resolution, we'd sent Ed a letter on August 21st, dated August 21st, for consider a resolution to bond for a new screw press at the wastewater treatment plant. The screw press is to not replace the press that's over there, but to, as we talked about before, to give us a dryer cake going to the landfill to save money. And the estimated savings.
Cake is such a misnomer.
What's that?
I say cake is such a misnomer.
Well, yeah. Well.
I've been there and seen it. It's such a misnomer.
But it's estimated, the savings after your bond payment would be, to the village, would be $22,600 a year.
Which is great, when you can make your payments and still show a
And
plus.
still show a plus,
On
yeah.
both sides, and that means you're doing something in a good way.
Right. There's a breakdown of the project in itself.
I think everybody's
behind the
seen
letter.
this,
Yeah.
right? They've already seen this. You need a motion for this,
Yeah,
right?
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion that we bond $500,000 as specified.
And that's, again, contingent upon New York City's agreement on their portion.
Second,
I will second that motion with the contingency as mentioned.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We did talk to Bob
Carried.
Ravallo, and he was leaving for vacation, but he felt pretty strong about this project. He was pretty happy when he started
Yeah, we're
seeing the
meeting on the
numbers.
17th.
17th is your meeting, correct.
Yeah.
And then last again is we're still doing work on the MBT project, so we just need to move ahead and ask for approval of $25,850 to work on the SCADA and PLC for the project.
Need a motion for that?
Is this something that's been budgeted?
It's in
Yes,
the
it's-
wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Was all part of that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, you said this project should be maybe the end of the month, might be done, is that
The MBT?
Yeah.
Probably the end of 2 months.
2 months?
You know, there's a fair amount of piping still in the sludge building, but everything else outside has moved along quickly, so, with the help of Roger and his
Yeah.
crew, so, yeah, things look pretty good, so hopefully by the end of, within 2 months, we should have that up and running.
Okay, excellent.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was painless, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Sure, $5 million worth of payments.
Have a meeting, yeah.
Painless for who?
Steve?
Good evening.
Hi, Steve.
Good evening.
Everybody has my report.
Yes, thank you.
Questions on that?
I like the new format. Yeah, it's nice, I like it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a little more clear as to what's what. So, other than my report, I know Charlie had sent out an email earlier. 53 Stockton is a property that I'm looking at and attempting to address, and I kind of wanted to get a sense from the board. We're past the drop dead date. I'd sent him a notice to take care of the problem, and have had zero response.
Is that house occupied
It is occupied,
by the owner?
yes. So, next step can be any number of things. I guess ultimately, if I wish to pursue ticket, court action, how does the board feel about that? I can send in.
What are you getting back from him as far as rationale, reason?
Absolutely nothing. I've had no response.
Really?
No.
For how long?
I gave him 30 days to take care of the issue. So,
Did you speak to him in person?
I have not made personal contact with him as of yet.
Do those letters go out certified mail? Are we
Yes,
sure
they
he
do.
received it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Concerns
Can
me.
I ask the issue?
Actually, I should have brought my picture with me. The roof, front of the house is an L-shaped house. The valley at the front is pretty much gone. And I can see that it's sagging all the way up to the roof line. There's probably a 3-foot by 4-foot hole down near the eaves. The porch roof is, I don't know that it has a hole through it, but it's just as rotten as is the porch deck. How they're in there, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be full of mold, and
He's been there a while.
it's a family home.
I'm not sure.
The family has owned it for years and years. I believe it's his
About
grandparents'
3
home.
doors up from you.
I think it's
Next
the,
to Coppolas.
Now I understand.
Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, ultimately, if I want to pursue court action, I need board approval to move forward with that, because that could end up costing us, money and attorney's fees and all that kind of stuff. I can send them another notice, see if I can get a response. I can go beat on the door until I,
Let me just get something clear.
yes,
You live in a very small village.
yes.
Everyone knows everyone. I mean, there's no way of contacting this guy in person and talking to him?
Our schedules don't meet. He's a
Oh, okay.
contractor by trade. He's out of the village.
that's an
Hey,
idea.
Hey, isn't it? Isn't it? That's
Oh,
why,
okay, I was
you know,
just,
yeah.
I'm just curious why couldn't someone get a hold of him and talk to him?
No, he's,
Does he
You
works
want somebody
during,
from the board to get a hold of him?
Is
well, I
somebody
don't,
from the
I
board
don't need you
willing
to,
do it?
yeah, I don't need you to do my job necessarily, but if
I'm
you
not
think that
saying
would.
do your job, but if you don't have the time to meet
Right.
him, I can take the time to meet him myself, because he's got a garden out behind his house that he's usually working on every night.
Oh,
I can at least mention it to him.
Right.
To give you a call, is all I'm saying.
Or
If
let me
you-
know when he's there, I'll go talk to him. That's
Well, he's
that's
usually
fine.
there after 5:30.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be the next approach to
Well, I
do
would
before you
say
go
so,
anyplace
before
else.
you hit him with it.
You know, you go talk to him, if he tells you to take a flying leap, well, then
Then you
at
got
least
something to go
at
on.
least you gave an attempt. And I think that's the fair way. And then then we come back and we'll do what we, if you have to do something. I just think it would be nice just to try and make some kind of attempt in person. That's all. And if he's not around when you're here, because I know you got a lot of other things going on, if Tink
If
volunteers.
you want me to go with you, I mean, it's up to you.
I just think someone should try to make an attempt to go and talk to the person. And if they're not responsive, then okay. At least you can say that we made a good attempt to go there.
And if you
We're in a
say
small
let's-
village here, it's not,
And if that's, like I said, if that's what you want done, I don't have a problem adjusting my schedule and, doing that as well.
I'd like to see you make contact with him.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I know where it is, I don't know who it is. Doesn't
well, it's
matter.
Charlie's committee, I mean,
You don't know if he's gonna get,
do you know them,
my
Charlie, down
property
there?
don't come back, or if
Right.
it's some hard luck story.
Right, right.
Not knowing who or what I know what we're talking about, I don't know who.
Right.
And I think a face-to-face would be a courtesy and probably prudent for a number of reasons.
And he definitely has the abilities, so.
Yeah, that's the killer in this one. I mean,
Let them know it needs to be taken care of. And if he doesn't have the time to do it, then just like any other homeowner, he needs to take steps to get it fixed.
right.
What's is he aware of the consequences, or is that included in the letter?
That's included in the letter. I mean, they're not, every last consequence is not spelled out in any, on any notice, but he's aware that, further enforcement action, I mean, up to and including, condemning the house and kick him out,
Okay.
any and all of that can happen.
Well,
That's why
I
I
think
just,
for right now,
before
before we get into all these things that couldn't maybe happen,
Right.
that we just go and someone try and talk to them.
Right, and that's why I brought it to the board. I don't
And
want
I
to,
know, I think you did the right thing, and I just feel very strongly that we should try and at least talk to them.
Right.
Okay? Does the board feel the same way?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. So, let me know when he's there, or you say he's there during the evening,
Yeah.
like I said, I can adjust, I can go tonight, since I'm here in the evening anyway.
Well, he's out there playing ball with his grandson the other night.
Okay. So,
Okay.
all right. What was the other thing? Oh, on my summary page there, 17th of this month, there is training, again, sponsored by Stabowitz, their quarterly meeting. It's $30 to attend. We would split that with the town, and that would pretty much cover me for training for the year, for code enforcement, so.
Make
Need
a
a motion?
So
Second?
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried?
I think that's it for now.
Thank you, Steve.
good.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Chief?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get my schedule. Got it? Good guy, all right.
You can't keep it there, that's the original.
That's the original?
I can print more.
Okay.
It's computerized. I can print it.
Ooh, moving up to the 21st century. Here we go.
Okay, the activity is, well, that's it there.
All of this stuff that's on there, what's you got one larceny, what is that?
That's theft of property.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to make them police terms, so.
Oh, that's okay.
The traffic summons are up a little bit from last month. You can see on there's 6 drug arrests, which is good.
Yes.
Calls were up slightly from last month, 26th, but down slightly from last year for that month. Year-to-date arrests are 278, 74 domestic. So you can see domestics are really the majority of the calls. Let's touch on the fare detail. Conducted 73.5 hours, manpower hours, directing traffic. The heavy nights seem to be Thursday and Saturday. I think some of that was probably because of the weather. I think the weather in the early part of it. So that's it, the activity. Couple things I did this month, other than just learn where the light switches go. Did get that down. I just printed these. These aren't something that you'll necessarily have to look at every month, but I just wanted to show you because I want to talk about it quickly, briefly, before Jody's actually in the electric charger. This is just what we did this month is we implemented the Spectrum Justice System. It was already in the station. You had already paid for the computers and everything for it, but they weren't really utilizing it to the fullest extent. They were using it for arrests and that kind of thing, just arrests. Well, what we did starting halfway through this month, the 18th of August, we implemented it where all calls are going into this thing. So I just printed this just to show you how we can use it. I also have a 10-page one, which I didn't print for everybody, but the reason I'm showing you that is just because the advantage of this system is with all the calls going in there, it's just real easy to track everything. I can track the types of calls, where the calls were, who covered the calls, the end results of the calls, and not having to flip through a paper book to try and go back and do that. So there's been a little bit of a learning curve. I have to give the guys 100% credit. They have all said, sounds good to us, we'll try it, and they've jumped right into it. The computer has gone down a couple times, we've corrected it, and they've gone back and put in entries after the fact. So they're really taking the bull by the horns with that. I'm pleasantly surprised how quickly they jumped right on board with that.
Are they entering stuff from the vehicle?
Not yet. That's going to probably be the next step, because you can actually end shift, and when you pull into the station, it'll actually shoot it into the computer already in the station. And we do have the capability of doing that. It's just a matter of logistically figuring it out. They do that already now with tickets. I should say we do that already with tickets. And I would like to get to a point that we're doing that with calls, because you can sit out in front of the house and do most of your work and just dump at the station. It cuts down time that they're in the station, which obviously is a good thing.
Just the logistical, the incident number, it looks sequential. Is that when you get to a new month, does it go back to 0, or does it just, the number just keep going?
Keeps on going. Just keeps on going. So you can see that just in the short month we had here, or the 2.5 weeks that we implemented it, the numbers have gone through the roof. And they really weren't that high before, because it was just based on arrests only. The numbers are going to shoot through the roof, but there's no limit. I mean, we can have an 8-digit number if we have to. But if you take a look at that, and the other thing this does is it really shows the activity that the department's doing, because this department is extremely busy. I mean, I'm really surprised. I mean, I've lived here all my life, and I'm surprised how busy they are. We are. What's that?
And you're going to stay.
A lot of paperwork.
But are you able to then, as chief, play with the figures and call up, how many of this or how many of that, or is there a trending, that sort of stuff with it?
Absolutely. Yep, we can call up all the larcenies for the month of July through September, if we want to do that. That's the advantage of having it in there. I mean, it does take a little bit of work on the front end to put it in there.
Sure.
But again, I think the guys are doing a great job getting used to it. And the other thing, I don't have to read the writing, which is nice, because, it's all
Cops do
typed.
have terrible handwriting.
Yeah, it's all. So, and the only reason I showed this to you, I won't necessarily bring this every month, because there's a lot of stuff on there that you're going to go, okay, that's great. But I just wanted to show you what it's capable of doing, and since you've already paid for it, I just want you to be aware of the importance of these computers that you already purchased, and in the future, if we need to do something, right now, we're pretty set with it. The only thing I could see in the near future, and we can talk about this at some point, is another place you can dump the information is from the computer into where you have to fingerprint them. Right now, they're having to type everything in there twice. For a small cost of software, and I haven't researched it, and we can talk about it at some point, you put everything in there once, and it puts it everywhere where you need it. So that might be something we want to pursue down the road as well.
Are you, say you go to, over a month, you go to the same house for the same domestic abuse, or whatever the issue is, 6 times in a month, the same place, the same, are you able to call that up, or do you have to track it manually, or?
No, you can call it up. I can put an address in there for the month of June through August, how many times
So you really
have we
can
done
play
it.
with this thing.
You can play with it. And as I mentioned in the committee meeting, the other advantage of that, in police work, grants are all about activity.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to grants and that kind of stuff, this stuff is going to be really helpful. Yeah,
Wow.
big time. So, I didn't really do anything other than just kind of change a little bit of policy as to what we're putting in there, because it was already in there. Due for an upgrade next month, which is a free upgrade. So I'll just keep you posted with that, but I just wanted, because it's kind of the first time we did it, I sort of wanted to introduce you to it.
I'm wondering if this with everything we have now in the computer business, if the next step would be just have the microphone and just say everything and they interpret it and put it down for you. Because you do it at the computers now.
Yeah,
You can do all your emails, all your figures, you can just talk it in.
just talk to it. Yeah, that potentially could be it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking that might be a next.
Yeah.
Does the sheriff's department or other agencies have access to this data if they're looking for similarities that may cross?
They don't. All the systems are self-contained within the department, but it's real easy for them to call down and look up a name, and you can see, oh yeah, we've had them here. And the other thing it shows is it shows a progression. If somebody's moving around the village, we can say, well, on January 13, they were living at such and such address. They've since moved to this address, and as far as warrant work and that kind of stuff, it makes it real easy to track people. It's not agency to agency. No other agencies do that. It's all pretty self-contained.
What do they call it?
It's SJS. It stands for Spectrum Justice System. It actually was a free piece of software from the state. So the software itself is free, but you have to supply all the equipment. And that's, like I said, you paid for the server that's over there. That's what you paid for. So,
Fantastic.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Any questions on that? Again, I won't give you such a crazy report every month, but actually with Rich, we're going to try and implement both so we can use this to give you your monthly report as well. So
Great, that's good.
I want to touch quickly on manpower. As you know, I've been short because of one resignation some time ago and also an injury. I have to, again, give credit to the part-time guys. Since I've been there, they've really stepped up. We have part-time guys that didn't necessarily get a lot of hours before that are coming up, and some of them are working a day a week, you know, for the whole month of September, so we have to give them a lot of credit. They've stepped up in covering things. We do have the 2 people in the academy. The update on that, they're doing great. They're getting in shape. They're doing a lot of fun things. They came in and saw me on Sunday before they went back, and they both had that kind of that, here we go again. So, but they're doing good. And I think, you know, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week police department. That's what we want. That's what you need in this village. It's important to do that. And we'll keep that going. These guys in the academy will make that a lot easier. A lot of my time now is kind of filling in shifts and getting who we can. I think with the support of putting the people in the academy, that's going to be helpful. The one officer that's injured is looking to be back by the end of the month, so that'll help. So I think that, in that sense, we're moving forward, you know, the manpower-wise. So we're good there. 2 other things quickly. There's a TASER training September 24th, recertification in Delhi. It's free. I'd like to send the 3 full-time officers, Tallman, Lauser, and Irwin. I'd like to get permission to send them. I'm not sure whether there's going to be room exactly for them now, but now is the time to ask. The only cost it would be is we'll have to buy training cartridges for them. They range right around $20 a piece. They each would need 2, so that's not a huge expense.
If Thomas is still out on sick leave, is it okay for him to do that?
No, we would not do that if he's still out on sick leave. The training is the 24th, so if he gets back by that time, I would just, and I'm only asking now, just so we can possibly get it approved now, if he can go. And I'm not even sure if everybody's gonna be able to go, but if we can at least get authorization for those 3 to go.
I would make the motion.
Need a second on that?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I met with the crossing guards this afternoon too, so we're good for school opening tomorrow. They all know what corner they're supposed to be on. And we'll see what happens with the school. I met with some school officials as far as the plans, as far as there's some changes going on in the elementary school, some procedure changes, so we're on board with that. And the parking in front of the school, I'm sure I will be addressing you again with that. I'll be there tomorrow morning to look at it, but from what I've seen before I was in this position, it's not a good thing. You know?
My thing is always, every time I've been around this thing, I don't know how we haven't had some serious injuries, issues. Maybe it speaks well of the parents dropping the kids off or the drivers passing through, but I don't know how we haven't had, I live close enough, and with the kids going through school, I don't know how something significant hasn't happened over the years, or maybe it has and I just didn't hear about it.
It's scary. It's scary. Yeah, I just think
maybe it's so bad that people are cautious because it's so obviously bad. I don't know, but it's.
One of my schoolmates we're talking years and years ago, but was driving
But
up the
about
street.
15 or 20 anyway.
Yeah. A youngster ran out between the cars. He never saw him. He hit the young man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still haunted to this day by that, and talks to me frequently, when are you gonna do something about it? You know, the teachers are out there, they saw there's nothing he could have done, but that still doesn't, and
Right.
the boy wasn't hurt that bad.
Yeah,
It's
just
still one of those things, he's haunted by it.
I guess we can talk more about it at some point, but I'm just a firm believer if those signs are there, those signs are put there for a reason, and the public has to obey the signs. I mean, I'm not interested in going down and having the guys instantly just start writing tickets, but I just think the public needs to know that will occur, you know. I mean, we can give out warnings and take a look at it, and maybe we can change some things, traffic pattern-wise, whatever we need to do, but in the past, I've seen that be a problem, and I just think we should get it out there, whether it's through radio, newspaper, something to that effect, that if after tomorrow it looks like it needs to be enforced, it will be enforced. And, you know, I'm going to feel bad that it's parents, and, you know, there's economic times, it's always tough writing tickets, you know, for stuff like that, but I just think we have to look at the safety of the community as a whole as opposed to individual.
What do you propose we do to alleviate the problem? You must have something in mind.
Well, I think right now, it's just obey the signs. I mean, you can park all the way down Mead Street. If you
Right.
send your kids down the sidewalk down Mead Street, they're gonna run into a crossing guard, you know? You can walk them down to the corner, you know, you can park up through here the best you can. I mean, I don't know the volume of how it's gonna be. I mean, I'll have to take a look at that tomorrow. But,
It's hundreds.
It's large.
It's a big volume.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous volume. We've been talking about this for 9 years now,
30.
way
I can
before
tell you
me,
30.
30 years.
but I'm just a believer in that if something needs to be changed, then you need to take the signs down and we need to change it. You can't, I mean, you know, the signs out there, you see cars just parked there. If you're not obeying some of the rules, you're not obeying any of the rules, really, right? I mean, you're making a decision what rules you're gonna obey. I just don't, and again, I'm not trying to be a stickler about it, but I'm just worried about from what I've seen, I'm worried about the safety of the kids out there. And
Taking
again,
the signs down ain't gonna help, I think, because you still get the problem. You know?
Right, right. If the signs are there, I just believe that you have to obey them, you know? And I'll be out there tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, take a look at it. And for the next week, you know, we'll just kind of keep track of it and, you know.
One area where the signs really had a basis, a good reason for being put up. It wasn't like, hey, let's put up a couple signs on a stretch of street. I mean, they're there for a reason, like
Right.
you say.
And again, even if the enforcement causes issues that we have to readjust things, then that'll cause a readjustment. I think it's better than just going, everybody's parking there, nobody does anything about it. I'm not sure that that's the correct step for the village to be taking with that, that's all.
One of the sad things is the message that, I hate to say it, parents send to their children when they park there as well. Yeah, it says no parking, but that doesn't matter, that doesn't count for it.
Right, right.
You might need a couple guys to do a tour here and there with you. Have a few guys out there standing, and then they'll get them, you know. One guy running up and down might be a little tough. You had a couple guys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, and again, I guess I'm just.
To really enforce it, you're gonna need a few guys because it's gonna be a lot of resistance.
Yeah, and obviously we don't want resistance, but I guess the reason I'm bringing it up now, even though it's a little premature, because I really don't know the solution or how bad it's gonna be, is just because we're all here, and it's just something that you should know that I think, you know, I personally will be looking at. I just think we need to look at it and see what we're gonna, how we can fix it with it. Be it meeting with school officials to figure out a different procedure for drop-off, pickup. I don't know, but I just think it's something that we should have conversation about over the next few weeks.
I think you get a lot of
Go
support.
ahead, Bruce, what do you wanna say? We'll let you talk. You're the supervisor. Go ahead.
I think you're in for a big surprise when you see it. They literally stop in the middle of the road because they can't pull over and park and let the kids out in the middle of the road now.
Yeah.
And it's just a terrible
It
situation.
is.
The problem we're gonna have, so what? I mean, not you, but I mean, the problem we're gonna have, so too bad, is we've always done it this way, they've never enforced it, I need to be doing this, all the classic, you know, the excuses, whatever, that to any one person may be true, but the fact of the matter is, we've got a hell of a dangerous situation there that's been there for a long time, and I think you're gonna get a lot of support from the board.
You get off.
See, it is a dangerous situation, but luckily, we've never had any problems, I mean, disaster-type problems. But I agree with you, If you got a sign there that says no parking this side of the street, then there's no parking this side of the street. I agree with you on that. So let's actually do something to alleviate that. I mean, you got the right idea. I mean, you got something started. Let's just follow up on it.
Yeah, and I agree. And it may not even be, you know, there's issues dropping kids off, but the street is too narrow.
Right.
As well. I mean, I've been down there where you're driving slow and you're just praying nobody's darting out.
You know, I would come out Mead Street to come like to the village office here. And I try not to do it while school,
Yeah.
because it's a hazardous situation.
Well, one of the worst situations that's gonna happen with some enforcement is somebody's gonna have to walk their kid 30 yards to school instead of across the street.
So what if it's raining?
Holy cow.
They used to, and again, I don't know if they can still do it, they used to park some on Grizzled Street and actually had that trail that walked through there too. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
the trail's
something we
still
could
there.
It's still there.
do.
It's still
You
in.
know, I mean, we just have to get creative, you know?
Right.
We just have to look
Okay.
at it, I think.
You
and
look
again-
at it, come back to us.
Yeah,
We'll-
and I don't think, I'm not trying to say that we're gonna hammer parking tickets, that's not my point here. My point is, that I just think it's something we need to talk about.
It's all your idea.
Yeah, we can blame you, yeah. We're okay till the new chief
Looking for
came.
votes already.
You know where you live.
We're okay.
Also, while you're on the school issue, I had talked to Chief Lauser before about going up to the school more frequently and talking with the kids about the drugs and other things, and he was starting to go up to the school more, so the principals will go, Roger Clough is good with it, so maybe if you have
Yeah.
some time, you can do that too.
Yep, I think the more the merrier, we even stop in and walk through the halls is a good thing. And I think we'll, you know, that's just the mindset, we just have to get comfortable doing that.
I just want them all to realize that the cops are the good guys, and
Right.
we're here not to, you know.
And we've already talked about some programs in elementary school, and
Okay, good,
we'll get those covered for sure.
excellent,
That's a definite asset.
yeah.
Part-time salary.
Oh, part-time salary for,
Uncertified.
Uncertified.
part-time police officers. Do we do that now?
yeah,
or-
yeah, we
Okay.
can do that now.
Okay.
What do you,
We're paying certified part-time officers $20 an hour, so I would, and we're paying uncertified part-time officers,
There isn't a,
there isn't a specific, we're paying them the full-time uncertified rate, which doesn't really line up. So
No.
I would suggest that we could pay them a little bit less. I would say $15, $18 an hour is what I would say. If we can do 18. We're not going to have that many uncertified part-time officers, to be honest with you, because the goal is to get them certified. The other thing, by raising that up a little bit, we're asking uncertified officers
To become certified.
To become certified, and we're, such as Mr. Gray in the academy, he's going on his own time. We're not paying him while he's in the academy. So if he can pick up some hours on the weekend riding with a certified officer, you know, that kind of, the pay would kind of make up for what we're asking him to do all week long, so.
Also, I mean, is it wrong to think of it as, I mean, a little more money will make them a little more likely to take the position part-time, uncertified, and it also it's like on the job, not training, but on the job evaluation on your
Sure.
part for them? Because
Absolutely.
it'll put them in front of you, more likely to put them in front of you.
Absolutely, right. It's like what we talked about before, the more we can get into the system at the bottom, the more selection you have,
Sure.
right? So, you know, I would propose if we can do $18 an hour for uncertified and keep it at $20 an hour for certified, part-time.
Is that enough of a difference?
Yeah, would it be more of a motivation if there were 15?
Well,
Where do you get the candidates?
the motivation is money, but it's also, you only have a year to get certified. So, I mean, there's gonna be motivation that they have to become certified anyway. So,
Okay.
I mean, I would try and keep it a little high just so we can kind of, when we're trying to select people to come in as uncertified, maybe it's a little bit more of a draw. And I'm also basing it on what other departments do.
Okay. Do you think that's enough of a difference to?
I do,
Okay.
I do. I mean, they're ultimately looking to get certified, so I don't think we need to say, yeah, look at all the extra money you're gonna get for being certified.
the committee, what do you think?
I have my hesitations.
Okay,
Hesitation?
I do, yeah. Because we were just paying our certified officers 18 until just, you know, a couple of months ago.
Well, we can raise them to 25 if you want.
Wait, no, we absolutely cannot. You're killing me here. I don't know. My feeling is 15, but, you know, how does everybody else feel?
To me, 15 is low based on the kind of stuff you're saying and trying to get people in just to take a look at them, because they're not going to be it's not like it's going to be an ongoing forever thing with any one person. So I feel a little uncomfortable with only being a $2 difference, and if we can't go higher on the 20, I wouldn't want to go down to 15, but
17?
17's something.
Yeah, I
mean, maybe we're splitting hairs.
Well, I think we are, and I think that for the amount of uncertified guys we're gonna have, it's really not, I'm trying to reward uncertified guys that are staying here, going through the academy. on their
Probably
own
over the
time.
course of the year, we're talking pretty small bucks.
Yeah, I mean, if they work 20 hours a week at most, which they're not gonna do, because with a full-time department, you're not gonna get that. And what are you talking, I don't know.
If you came up with those figures, you must have based them on something. What is, just what you're thinking, or is it?
Other departments, do they have uncertified working for them?
Mhm.
And what do they pay them?
I can tell you from my experience,
Yeah.
where else I work, it's 18.
18.
We do 18 and 20.
Because aren't there departments that are paying their certified officers 18?
I don't know more.
Certified officers?
I thought there were.
All the cops around here now are all making $20 an hour.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's based on other, and again, I think, I'm talking $2,
Yeah.
$40 a week if they're working 20 hours a week, 40 times 50 is, I don't think we're,
And how often do we use uncertified?
as little as possible. I can't really answer that. I mean, Holden Gray in the academy hasn't worked yet. I mean, I would like to try and get him on some weekends just to have the OJT training and have him, be more prepared when he gets out. But
Right.
him and
The
Officer
other
DeMont-
one that would affect would be
DeMont.
Chris DeMont.
Right, those are the only two uncertified
Yeah.
part-time
Okay.
officers we have.
Okay. Well, then I'll make the motion that we pay them 18.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good job.
Jody will never talk to me again, but hey.
Is that it? Anything else? Anybody else have any questions?
No, I will compliment you though on the fair traffic. You kept it moving.
I guess, like never before.
I mean, it was like never before. I worked down there 28 years. And sometimes you'd get out and park and walk to get to work. Get the hell away
Well, I
from
appreciate it.
traffic.
Guys did a good job, and I think the calls to DOT helped. The light seemed to work a lot better.
Yeah.
I think that sign down on State 10 sent a lot of people up the backside, so just, I think a couple of small things helped, but
Yeah.
I think overall it would, we did have some traffic jams at times, but it was overall good.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
seem to
It's gonna be unavoidable.
compliment yourselves with the jams. So,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Pass that on, thank you.
you're welcome.
I want to say thank you. I mean, you've been doing a good job.
Thank you.
I really,
Appreciate it.
really appreciate it. And you made yourself available whenever I needed you, and people have called you on the weekend like I have, and you've
Right, right.
responded, so thanks a lot. It means a
You're
lot.
very welcome. Like I always said, if we can take care of problems before they become big problems.
I'm gonna forget if I don't ask this now, but it's my committee, but at the end of the year, we always get from all the departments, we get, the end of the year report, everything. It used to be the fire department, everything, then, so it's all statistics for the most part, and good or bad, it's all statistics. And I just get the sense you're gonna have a good enough sense of the heartbeat of the village. Whenever that, I don't know, at the end of the fiscal year or calendar year, but I just get the sense you'd be able to give us more of a heartbeat of we're trending, drugs are up, thefts are down, more of a narrative than just what the statistics
Sure.
are telling you about where
Sure.
we're going, because you're hearing more about drugs, and I hear about people walking along and picking up syringes and stuff, but sometimes there's more to the statistics than the statistics.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, and ultimately, just for the second month, you're just getting stats now, but ultimately, I'll do some write-ups for you in the bottom of
Just
some
listening
highlight
to you,
cases.
I get the
Right.
sense that there's
Right.
more within you than just the.
Right.
and-
I just have to get a little bit more entrenched, which I think
For
will
sure.
occur in time. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
All right,
Chief.
thank you.
Have a good night. Okay. Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to think what I want to do, not to let Bruce have to sit here all night for the rest of the talk, and I'll show you a little courtesy there. We have a couple motions. Number 8, could we go to number 8? Breaking motor flood buyout. There's 2 resolutions there. One. I'm sorry, not two, one, I'm
The
sorry.
copy of the town.
The one, yeah, a copy of the town, one resolution. Everyone's had a chance to look at it.
I was asking you before, this isn't something that can be done any other way. I mean, we can't take the land from the other side of the river where the park is, rather than take something off the tax rolls.
Well, the advantage of where doing it, the park is by the bridge, and there's not a big solution there. But by doing it up, that's where they filled in over the years, that's where we need to take the dirt back out. It's pinched the river there and created a slowdown that's creating problems for us on Delaware Street. So the idea behind the buyout and relocation programs with the city is that part of the agreement is that they have to relocate in that village or on the outskirts of the village, and that become part of the village so that the village doesn't lose a lot of tax base. In this scenario, Keith already owns a building. So this is an easy one to do as a pilot program, which is what we're hoping the city will accept, as a pilot program to see that it works. His new buildings, the value should increase when he changes the usage of it. So that'll help make up some of the loss from this building. But more to the goal is to prevent more flooding, to help reduce flood insurance for us, because we're going to lose a lot of businesses if we don't do something about the cost of flood insurance, or if we don't get Delaware Street out of the floodplain, or the floodway.
Floodway.
Because if we lose the assessment on Delaware Street, we're really going to be hurting.
Yeah.
I estimate the assessment on the flood area of Delaware Street at over $5 million. If we lose that, that would be devastating to our tax bases.
Sure. What about the property that's above Keith? Can that be?
Above Keith.
With a DOT at the end of his property, the parking lot.
Oh, that's just a small segment. We're talking about, I was told years ago that you could only park one row of cars there, and it's been filled in so much, now you could get 3 rows of cars in there. So they've
Yeah, they keep
squeezed
moving
the
it back,
river.
yeah. Mhm.
As a kid, I saw them do that. They brought in cars, they buried the cars, it was real fast. It must have been what?
We're worried about what we find near in.
Yeah, there's very
I think that's part of your answer right there.
You know, so it's bottleneck to water, and if we don't do something about it, our problems are just gonna get worse. And I have to commend the village and the town, they've been doing fantastic on flood work. I mean, we're doing all kinds of things to help prevent it. The flood commission is doing tremendous, and since Walton started a flood commission, there's like 4 or 5 that have started in Delaware County following suit to what we've done. And it's probably the best thing the town and the village have ever done together, is form that flood commission. We are doing things and accomplishing a lot for the community. So,
Together we're
commend the board.
stronger.
Yep.
And the expense of this comes from the city?
Yes.
Yep. Nothing
The-
for us.
The
Except for
buyout and
taxes.
relocation is city funds. The restoration of the property, the city funds go through soil and water and have to apply for the grants and things like that. But there's a lot of pluses to this project. It's so important, I think, to all of us.
So even if we pass this resolution, there's a possibility that the city will still not fund it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is not a done deal when we
No.
pass
We're
this
no, no.
resolution?
far from it. We're just at the very starting point before the city will even look at it. Assessors or appraisers have to come out and they have to agree on price. And so there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this in the future. But if we don't try it, we'll never know if it's going to work. Or once we get one done, then we can work on others to see if we can accomplish the same thing and go farther with this.
And for those that might be watching on video, Keith Davis is on board with this. He's agreeable that it goes through, so it's not
Right,
the
we
town, the
couldn't go
village
any-
stealing something
right,
from them.
We can't go
don't
any
do that.
farther. And part of the rules to the program is that the village and town have to approve it so that it doesn't appear that the city is coming in and taking select properties in communities where they're not supposed to buy property. And we talked about doing a resolution allowing it, but then we decided at the town level that we wanted to do it piece by piece, so that everyone had to be reviewed, so that we weren't accused of doing something improper or not what the community wants.
If you take piece property there, take out the pilings, you do this, you do that, right? Now, how much lower are you gonna lower that brook when it's flooding? By taking that,
The estimate was approximately reducing flooding by 2 feet. Now, it depends on
what if we
other
go back upriver and take more, make it wider? What happens then?
Well, we haven't looked at that, because when we did our study, we went from breakies
Right,
to
it started
craft.
right here in the village,
Right,
down to Craft.
right. But we chose that because there was a lot of easy fruit to pick.
Oh, I
Once we get
understand.
that, we're gonna expand it. So the study's gonna go up, it's gonna go up all the brooks. So we're gonna look at all of
But
it.
it'll definitely, in the end, I mean, this is gonna be years,
Right,
you know that. But in years to come, it'll definitely make a big difference in, as far as flood insurance, as far as this, that.
Right.
But all the paperwork, you know, you gotta dot the i's and cross the t's. But this is only getting your feet wet.
right. But with all Steve has done, and Steve working for the town and the village, we get credit on both ends.
I
for all
realize
his
that.
training, and so this has been fantastic, and this has worked well for all of us. You know, so we've got a long ways to go, and it might
Sure.
take a long time, but we've already seen reduced flooding here in Walton. We've had some close calls, and I feel it's because of the work that we've been doing with the streams and the work we've been doing in our communities that's helped keep flooding down.
I think our rainfall has been less too.
In certain cases,
Little bit
it
of
has
both of
been,
everything.
but
Yeah.
we've been close quite a few times, so.
And Steve, I think, we had talked earlier, I think you've already looked at, or the board has, that as the soil goes down, the water going against the feed store coming out of East Brook will be deferred by the.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we took a look at. And I asked a specific question at our flood commission meetings, you know, is there going to be an issue with feed store if, you know, we reclaim a bunch of that floodplain? And kind of the general consensus is that because you have the stream right next to the feed store, that's going to continue to help divert the main stem, you know. So you have the power of the two streams acting on one another, not acting on the Brandon.
So we may have to do some things to protect Randolph.
Right. So
We'll
the
see that.
And
message is,
Brandell's-
commission's been looking at that, they're
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
forward that.
Oh, yeah.
Protecting it, not moving it, not taking it out.
Two
Because I mean, I don't want to go
velocities coming together
another big property. I think I made that very
Right.
clear too.
Well,
there.
and
Two velocities
Brandell's
coming
is,
together there, you still gotta protect
Right.
Randolph.
Yeah, yeah.
and Brandell's is a willing participant, you know, in that, you know, if we went down and said, you know, hey, we're gonna have to rearrange your property or your buildings on your property, they'd be more than happy to do that.
Do they own that building?
Yes, they own that building, so, in talking with the owners, I mean, they fully get what we're trying to do in terms of protecting the village and the projects that we're doing, and they're more than happy to support us in whatever way they can, so.
It protects them also.
Who's paying for all this?
A lot of it's coming from the city.
Oh, I don't like hearing a lot of it.
Not from us.
I don't, we could never do it.
We couldn't do it. It's not coming from the village.
But there could be in-kind services provided by us. There could
Okay.
be all kinds of
Sure.
different things that really cost us money, but it doesn't cost us money.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, we have to put our own sweat into this too to
Sure.
make this successful. We have a community that does that. I mean, we have a community when it flooded, people were out helping neighbors and strangers, and it was just fantastic to see.
Yeah.
We have a caring community.
Can I have a motion for this?
I'll move that we accept the resolution, that we pass the resolution as
Can I
printed.
have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No, you have to do.
He wants to do a roll.
Right, we need a roll call.
Oh, individual? Okay. Think I'll start with you.
Thank you. Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Thank you. So Jody, if you can give me a copy of that and the go, move it forward.
Okay.
And I appreciate you.
Right,
This is very important.
Yeah.
I wish you well.
We're working hard.
we're on one of these meetings, so thank you, but I just wanted, in case you had something else to do, I know you're busy, so.
Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
very, very much. It's already been an hour.
Yeah. All right, number 3, public input. Well, we have no public here, so.
We've heard from everybody already.
Cardboard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bruce.
Good night.
Okay, good night, Bruce. Number 4, trustee reports. Teresa, I'll go with you tonight.
Sure, I really don't have much. The summer programs have ended. They were very successful. Last meeting, I gave the numbers, how many children and adults for the swimming lessons that we provided services for. So I just want to thank Brian and Roger and all the people who worked, volunteers and hired people who worked during these programs. And that's it.
Charlie?
I put on the table cards that the Theater Association has put out, some of the coming events.
It's nice.
We've got, they're very active. One of the things they just talked about tonight is 1st of November, a silent film festival. So you'll be hearing more in the press around the village about that. That's all I have.
September 27th sounds pretty good.
So, Oklahoma, is it?
Wild women give the blues. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Probably not what you're thinking.
Dave, your turn.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Dave, anything with you?
The Pride Committee met on August 7th. We had a light attendance, and Molly Oliver, the county planner, was not able to attend. She had been double booked and didn't realize it until it was too late. But we talked about a few different issues. Wendy continues to work on developing a mission statement for the group to make sure we stay headed in the right direction. We have a tendency to get off on tangents at times. She's also working on the concept of a neighborhood watch program, and pros and cons is worth considering. So it's early stages, it's conceptual at most so far. Continue to work with Chris Morgan on creating the sign that we would be using for properties of significance. Talking about just really a brainstorming session of sorts with different people from the area that would know more about community development and revitalization. And our next meeting is Thursday, September 11th at 6:30, right here in this room.
Thank you. Hank, anything?
No, I don't have anything. I've already said my thank you to everybody.
Okay. Okay, we'll go number 5, manager's report. Got a couple things. I'll try and make it quick. The first thing I want to bring up regarding taxes, tax collections. One of the people, Sarah Hood, who lives at 19 Marvin Avenue, called me up and said that she was concerned that her property is one of the properties that could be foreclosed on this month, into this month. She said that she doesn't have any money right now to pay the taxes, but that she gets a large income tax return in February, and that if we could hold the property until at least that month, she would pay she was like almost $6,000 right now. She would pay it all at one time, and plus whatever the penalties, everything are accrued at that time. And I said that I would speak to the board about it. I said, we're not looking to go into the business of being real estate agents, but at the same time, we have to collect our money too. So, it's up.
She's not asking us to stop the foreclosure on her
No,
property.
no,
She's just
saying
asking us to
not
not
to sell
sell
it.
it before March.
Right, to hold the property for until
March.
until February. She said in February she gets her check, by the end of February. She would pay the whole thing off in full. So,
The process continues.
the process is gonna continue. We'll take hold of the property sometime in October maybe, or whatever, end of September.
No, she would pay, I mean, if there's a change in deed, she's gonna have to pay those legal fees as well,
Yeah,
right? I mean, if it goes,
All fees incurred.
yeah.
all fees and everything
Okay.
good.
And what happened, Is this the place where she lives?
That she lives
I
there.
guess my question is, what happens about if, say it goes the process and, February hasn't happened yet, as far as upkeep and is it, who owns the house?
It will be ours.
See, do we need to talk to Dave Merzick about the legalities of upkeep and utilities? I mean, I don't know if we're doing something we're not able, my personal preference is to bend a little and let the process continue, and if she can come up with the money like she says, then great, we'll stop. But continue until then. I just don't know if we're owning the house until such time as that happens, technically or legally, as far as insurance, upkeep, if there's something happens on the property or to the
Utilities
property,
issue. Right.
just not to be splitting hairs over some bureaucratic stuff, but if we're gonna start doing this at times when people don't have but will have money, what happens during that gray period of time?
That's a good question. I mean, if she has a mortgage,
I mean, something
and
goes
now we're
wrong,
the
it could be
owner, what
really
if,
costly for us.
if she doesn't keep up her mortgage?
Insurance too, because what happens if it burns down?
Yeah.
Also, if at the end of March, for whatever reason, she does not vacate and does not pay back, then we'll have to have her forcibly removed?
You'd have to go through the
Well,
eviction
so these would be
process, right?
questions that I guess probably,
I mean, we've been through this before.
I mean, we would just go through an eviction
Well, we'd have to go through this
process.
anyway
Yeah.
if we took it in September,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, if you
sorry.
take it, I would think that if you take it into September, then you would have to, if she's still in there, then you would have to go through the eviction process to get her out of there.
And
Now,
that's
this is a
gonna-
process
and that's
Or
gonna-
Once she was out of there, then you'd also have to winterize the place,
Right.
because you can't leave it, sitting there full of water and whatever. so-
See, as long as somebody's not jerking us around and been doing this for, 8 months, checks in the mail, my personal preference would be to work with a person. As long as we have some answers to what happens during that gray period of time when technically legal, officially illegal, whatever the word would be, the property is the village's, but we got somebody living in there and you've got taxes, upkeep, insurance. What if something does happen to the building on the property? Some kid trips on the sidewalk and splits a skull. All the things you would imagine. You know damn well, if we leave ourselves uncovered unknowingly or uncovered
Yeah.
knowingly, that's the very time something's gonna happen. It's the way it works, unfortunately.
So we need to
So I'm-
get answers from Dave.
As long as we have some answers to that are what we want to hear from Dave Merzig or an insurance
But
agent.
can we put it off for a month? There won't be enough time, right? Because next month will be... We could approve it depending on the outcome of speaking to Dave. If he says there's something legally that we shouldn't do, then we can...
We can set another meeting.
We can set another meeting, we can have another meeting, yeah.
Let's-
All right, let's put it off till we have another
Yeah.
meeting. Okay.
Maybe if we need something in writing to address that she will be responsible for the
Yeah,
utilities.
we're gonna have to
and
do
she
something in
will have-
writing either way.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll
I'm
fix
sure
it.
this
Set that
isn't-
time now?
For the meeting?
Yeah.
What's...
How fast does Dave usually get back to us with that information?
He might be able to tell us right
Well,
away.
this is a little tricky. It might take him a day or two, but
So, can we do it on Friday?
Oh, are you gonna be here Friday? Is that your last day here? Teresa's gone for a month, so we gotta... I got something Friday morning at 9 o'clock.
afternoon would probably be better. for me.
Afternoon. Can we do Friday afternoon?
I can't be here from like 1:45 to 2:45, that, I gotta be at the house at that
Later after?
How about, well,
Friday the 5th.
yeah,
After
2 o'clock?
3 o'clock or so.
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock on, I'll be
Is that okay with you, Teresa? 3
Yeah,
o'clock?
that's fine.
Charlie?
Good for me.
Tank?
Yeah.
Friday, 3 o'clock. That was easy.
Sure, some more to throw in there.
Oh, stop, you're going on vacation, so stop.
Thank you.
Okay, then I'll speak to Dave about it, and then we'll make a decision on Friday. Okay.
Will she be at the meeting?
Well, if we need her to be here, she might have to.
For Sarah,
Yeah?
we can invite her.
Well, let's invite her. You know.
Well, do we want to wait until we see what Dave has to say?
Yeah, but we,
Yeah.
Might have to have another special meeting. If we find out what Dave says.
Well, we should find out before this
Oh,
meeting.
definitely,
yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah,
No, I'm with you.
okay.
Okay. All right, the next thing I have, the only other thing I have is I got this letter, it's a long letter, but I am writing to you, ask about the village's policy on refunds and changing dates for renting Austin Lincoln Park. On August 8th, I went to the village hall to rent Austin Lincoln Pavilion for my 25th class reunion, which will be held on August 8th, 2015. I filled out the application that Misty Phoenix gave me, paid the $50 fee, and received my receipt. Unfortunately, later that night, a fellow classmate that is helping organize our event informed me that the date we needed was August 15th, not the 8th. So on August 15th, I went back to the village hall and asked to change our date. After showing Jody Brown my receipt and explaining our mix-up, I asked to change the date and was told firmly no. I asked why and was informed that 10 minutes after I left on August 8th, another person came in to rent the pavilion for August 8th, 2015, and was unable to because I had rented it to the village. So the village would be losing money on the other rental. I then asked who the person was, and Ms. Brown said she did not know. I then asked to cancel my reservation for August 8th, 2015, and was informed I could not get a refund because, again, the village would lose the money on the rental. I could rent the pavilion up for August 15, 2015, but have to pay another $50. I was not able to make that decision without consulting the others who are planning this event with me. So I said I would see what everyone would like to do about this situation and left. I could understand not refunding a cancellation if it was closer to the actual rental date, but a year is a long time for someone else to come in and rent it. I would also like to know why there is not a callback list that people could be added to just in case this situation happens again. I'm sure in a week's time, the person that came in after me would have been happy with a phone call saying it was now available. I would also like to suggest a policy be made and presented to everyone who rents any village park so that this situation can be avoided. Maybe even state no refund and/or changes 6 months before the rental day. I would really appreciate it if you would look into this and let me know how to proceed. We will not be using the park on August 8, 2015, and would really feel bad for it to sit empty for the day when someone could be using it for their event. If you have any questions and/or answers to this situation, please feel free to contact me at my phone number. Thank you for the time and attention for this unfortunate circumstance. Sincerely, Erica Charles. Okay.
So what do we have now, Jody? Is it a written policy we have, or it's just custom, or how?
it's just what I've been taught and that's what we followed.
Okay, so it's not in writing, it's just the custom of what we've done? Okay. Okay.
So what we did is, without having the written policy, we left you out. Nothing to go on, except
But what
for
we've been
what
doing
we've
past
done in the
practice.
My feeling is, like we talked about before, we're a small village, and, when we spoke about reaching out to this man, I feel like there are sometimes that we need to bend a little, as long as we're not breaking any rules or laws or anything like that. And since this is more custom than anything else, I think we could have done it. I think we still can do it, but perhaps we need to have something in writing so that you're covered and Misty is covered, or whoever is the clerk and deputy clerk at the time. And I think this woman's suggestion is a good idea. 6 months gives us time
But
to
you've
have
got
somebody
to
else.
also remember that the more changes, the more mix-ups could happen with Brian and knowing the park's rented or not rented. And there again, if we've got to make phone calls to try to get it rented to somebody that might be on a list, I mean, that's more time too for us.
Right. Does this happen very often, when people come in and want to change the dates?
And we've had a few people want to cancel before, and we told them that we could not. They can change the date. I was just trying to tell her that we don't refund the money.
Oh, okay. I agree with that policy. But,
They can rent another date, they'd have to pay again.
right, but it seems to me that if she just, when it was so close, that she wanted to change it from one date to the other. It's not like she came back in April and decided she wanted to change it. It was just a matter of a week or so.
Yeah, a year seems a long way out. We ought to, like, give Jody something to fall back on, something like a
Right.
policy, or whatever you call it, where like if you change it, if we're going to allow changing the date, no changes will be allowed after some
30
date
days or
that,
something.
a date that's, in the spring or something that's starts to make sense. A year out seems just a little unfair to have, do they get rented a lot? Do they?
In the summer, on the weekends, yes, they're pretty much always rented.
Then based on that, I would think that this far away from the planned date, there's enough time to have somebody else come in and use it. I think and if somebody, maybe, I think it was their suggestion of keeping a list of people that were turned down so we could go back to or something, unless that turns into some ungodly amount of work. The last thing you need to do is one more thing to do. I don't know how labor intensive something like that is. I don't want to, create the need for another position down there just to keep track of park rentals, but.
I mean, we're trying to write a new agenda here to alleviate this problem, but the problem is you have a individual that wanted to rent it for such and such a time, right? But then found out it was a year away.
No, they knew it was a year away,
Oh,
but they thought the 8th was gonna be the weekend before the fair.
But it was the
And next
15th,
year
so
it
it's only a week
date
difference.
is the-
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I can see changing the date or whatever has to be done. But I don't think we have to write a book to do all this.
Well, we need some kind of a policy so that everybody's treated the same.
Well, I agree with that, but maybe if we go through the lawyer and so forth, maybe he can give us some guidelines. Or can we make up the guidelines?
I don't know if we need a lawyer.
I think we can do it ourselves.
That's what I'm saying. But what
isn't
kind of
it all-
guidelines are we talking about?
If you want to do it, then you can't do it within a certain amount of time.
Who's the Parks Committee person? No, lady.
Oh,
Well, not knowing who that is, I guess
Well,
maybe Brian, Teresa
Brian and
and
Teresa, and maybe
Brian
Misty to
sit
throw in
down
somebody
and
from
come
the
up with something that's
office.
gonna
Yeah.
make sense, is gonna be fair to you guys from a workload standpoint, something that's, would hold up
Yeah.
to the realities of what happens down there when people have to change their plans, if not their minds, and
Right.
okay.
and there's some deadlines, and after this date, whatever you would need to address something like
Yeah.
this, anything else that you might see coming up.
Okay.
I'd like to attend that with you.
Sure, of course.
Okay, that's the future, but what are we gonna do about this particular one?
I think with this particular one, that
Is the 15th open? The date that she
I
wants?
have no idea at this
Okay.
point.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, Tink. What were you going to say at this point?
I don't know, I'd like the lady, I'd like to clear the table with the lady, and
Accommodate her if we can.
if we can.
If it
I feel the
hasn't
same way.
been rented.
Right.
I mean,
If it
personally,
hasn't
I
been
think
done,
a year from now is too long to not refund her money, because I think that if it gets used that much, I think there's a real good chance it's gonna be rented by somebody else over the course of the next year. You got almost a full year to.
Right.
She doesn't even really want a refund, she just wants to change the date from the
Right.
8th to the
Without
15th.
additional
But the
charge.
date she wanted is taken.
No, we didn't know that.
No.
We
I don't
didn't
know
say
that.
that.
Oh, I thought the date she wanted to go to was.
No, a
No.
second person came in to rent it for the date that, the incorrect date that she initially
Oh,
asked
okay.
for.
When she left, someone else came in and wanted to rent it for the same day.
Yeah.
I tend to agree that we should accommodate her on that and let her, if the 15th is available, the fee that she's already paid for the 8th, what that fee be to pay for the 15th.
Are you making
Yeah,
a
and then
motion?
the only-
I'll make that a motion.
The only person that's, I'm awkward for, but that loses, for lack of a better term, would be the person that came in and wanted the date and told it was taken, when it's gonna end up
Right.
not being taken.
And hopefully, via our meeting here being recorded, that person will find out that the 8th of August is now
yeah.
open, at least as of now.
So now what happens if they've already rented a different day and now they want to switch?
Who
Then
has
I would
the-
let them.
The
The
people on the
people,
8th.
yeah, see, because now we're gonna have,
I guess I'd
Snowball
refer it,
effect.
I'd refer it to that unknown committee member.
Committee.
I think we'll have to, if that's the case, we'll have to address that as it comes up.
Because that'll be a one-time
Door
thing, when
committee
it's
system.
already, I mean, just this one specific time, because then this, whatever policy we
Yeah.
work on.
Yeah.
So who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next thing is number 6, the varsity hockey signs. I have a letter here. I am writing on behalf of the varsity field hockey team to ask permission to hang wooden field hockey sticks on the telephone poles along Delaware Street. The sticks would be hung up no sooner than the last week of August and would be taken down after the last varsity field hockey game. The season typically ends mid-October. As a senior member of the team, I will personally be involved in the hanging and removal. Thank you for your consideration, email, Kylie Limerick.
I think that I think the same girl wrote last year, we gave them permission to do it as long as she was taking responsibility for taking them down.
Okay, so you're making,
I'll make that motion to
do I have
allow
a
it.
second on that?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
well, what about the signs that are already hanging up, dude?
What signs are hanging up?
There's some kind of sports signs on poles already, I noticed the other day when I went
The
down.
football?
I think the football got out there again.
Well,
I
then,
don't know who, I'm not sure who led the charge this time.
that's not okay.
I know, I gotta find out who put them up.
Are they, what kind of, are they
They're
cardboard?
football.
The footballs, like there's one, I think one square football sign, and then they usually hang up the footballs.
Are they wooden signs like?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. You know, that's not okay, whether it's the Booster Club, it's probably the Booster Club, right?
I don't know, I'm gonna have to find out. It could be Booster Club, it could be parents of, some team members.
Yeah, I mean, for my money, they need to be taken down until they're given permission.
And as a first come, first served, the first organization to approach us is the field hockey, so if what we just
Okay.
approved, she wants to.
Number 7, the first-time home buyers. Are you gonna address that?
I forwarded the information for W4-77 for $15,000 for down payment and closing costs, and I just need a board approval to go ahead and approve this first-time home buyer grant money. It is HUD money, it's not ours, so,
Is this address in the village?
yes.
It is, okay. I'll make the motion.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You want to address this one? That would be it.
The judge,
Should, you put that in our mailbox, is that something we need to do about, from Judge Lauser?
yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, no, that wasn't it.
No, this is, yeah, we got it right here.
That unknown board
Didn't
member
see
thing.
the Judge Lauser is requesting permission to open a joint bail account for Gumo and himself as part of the startup for a bank account. They need a board resolution, so.
I make a motion.
What have we been doing in the
Can I-
past?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My question is, it's not really being set up for these two judges, it's being set up for the village judge and the acting, what is Gumo's?
No, it's in their names.
It's in their
The
names.
current judge's names, yes.
So what happens if one of them is gone, then
Then they
that,
have to,
that
they could
account
change.
closes?
Change the
They
name.
could change, probably change one of the names on it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What have we done in the past?
They always go and open their own.
Yeah, we don't.
It has nothing, I don't have, that's not one I have to reconcile or anything.
Okay, so, I mean, we're assuming that Judge Lauser feels that this is a better way to go about it, so I think that we should, take his lead and give him approval to do that.
I make a motion.
Hank made the motion. Do I have a
Oh,
second?
sorry, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You have nothing else, right?
I did have a request. We have a lease for our copier.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, the bills come at an odd time, and it never seems to kind of correspond when we do our abstracts. So I was just requesting permission to go ahead and pay them with the prepaids.
Do you need a motion?
I do.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Judge Gumo's request, do we need a motion for this?
Yes, they wanted to order some books for the judge.
The new
or the
manuals,
court.
2014 manuals. I make the motion that we allow them to do that.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Yeah, I have nothing, the only one thing I want to bring up to the board, there's been I don't know if you, do you have a chance to give the insurance company a call today?
I
About
have
the
not
GoFund?
heard back from.
Oh, okay. It seems that the high school is going to be getting new goalposts for the football field. And Mrs. Jacobs had asked, with the ones they're taking down, if they could be put Austin Lincoln with the PV football field is. And she said that they had attempted this many years ago, and there was some issue with insurance, liability or something. So I asked Jody to call the insurance company, which she did, but they didn't get back to us yet. And I just want to make the board aware of it. I spoke to Roger about it.
So maybe
And-
we'll hear back by Friday.
Yeah, probably better. And Roger said that he would work with him on it when he has time to do something like that. But I think it might be, I mean, the kids aren't obviously too little to kick field goals, but it's just the idea of having goalposts and
Years ago,
Yeah,
we had them
thanks.
up there.
real big ones, I mean, or the little.
No, they weren't as big like high school. They were just something you could go through the motions.
Yeah.
But we really never used them that much.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying don't put them up there. I'm all for it.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to bring it, we'll talk about it more on Friday, and that's from there. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Sunrise, the league bills, is that something that's really come forward?
Can we talk about Sunrise in executive session? Sunrise Dairy? When we talked about it, yeah.
Probably, they're not really executive material.
Yeah,
Unless
okay.
it's like a negotiation.
Okay. Why we're talking, because Sunrise Dairy, we had an issue, they owe us money. And they were supposed to be on a program where they would pay, after they got the delivery within 2 weeks, they would pay us plus the 10%. They have been late a couple of times, and the last time they were late again. So I called up a few times, wasn't getting any return phone calls. Delaware Operations had called up, they weren't getting any return phone calls. I called today and got a hold of the poor girl that answered the phone in the office, and I let her know that I apologize that it's her I'm giving this message to, but seeing how we can't get the owners of the plant, here's what the problem is. It's very unprofessional, they're not calling us back. We sat down with them on lunch on numerous occasions, talking, trying to work with them, and I thought it was very unprofessional and discourteous not to return a phone call, and that if I didn't get a phone call back shortly, they would no longer be allowed to come to a wastewater treatment plant. And then I hung up. And I think about 5 or 10 minutes later, Jody got a phone call, and then I got a phone call from one of the other owners that I haven't talked to, his name Dave, and I explained to him what the situation was, that he owes X amount of dollars,
and we're not trying to harden those people, but we want to get paid like everyone else does. And we've treated them with respect, and they should treat us back the same way, and not returning phone calls. I told them a few other words too, and knowing me. Anyway, I said, if you have a problem, if you can't do something, then call us up and tell us. Treat us like a gentleman, we'll treat you like a man, and we'll take care of it. And he promised me they would not be late again. And I said, I've heard this before, if you are, that's it, no more warning. You just shut off and that's it. You know, enough is enough. You try to be a nice guy, but it only goes so far. So, I figure, yes.
Should we follow that up in a letter, so it's in writing, that that's it?
Yes, I think that's a good point.
Because otherwise, it's just a verbal comment, you know, come there and say.
Verbal.
You never said that.
Yeah.
So if that's something you want us to do, we had started the other letter, it's up to you, we'll get it to you, you sign it, send it out.
All right, I'll talk to him. Okay.
Okay?
Good idea.
Okay, other than that, that's it. Anyone else have anything?
Do we need a motion authorizing you to send that letter or anything like that? If we don't.
I don't think so. It's more like a, We-
The contract clearly states
the
that.
contract,
Yeah.
the contract's done, you know, I don't think that we have to send it right now, because the contract is over the end of the month. That's the
Well,
whole,
unless you want to work on a new, it expired on
Work-
the 30th, unless you want us to work on a new contract.
yes, I think that's the best thing, work
Which
on
is
a new
why
contract.
it should be, that letter should be sent,
There's no
Prior to
harm in
the-
sending it.
Yeah,
so.
okay, good, no problem. Just give me a call, let me see what it says. I want to be stern, but not.
Just laying out the facts of the
Yeah,
conversation.
right, yeah, okay. Okay, I'll talk to you about it in a while. Anyone else have anything else you want to bring up?
Wow.
No? Then I guess, I need a motion for adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hey, thank you everyone for coming.
Did you ever say you didn't want to